So I'm Dr. Dance-Barnes, and I'm here at Winston-Salem State University. I am currently a faculty member in the Department of Biological Sciences. My area of research interest is cancer biology, and for a good bit of time, I served as co-chair, and now I'm currently the associate provost and dean over the university colleges, interim. And I'm sitting here with.
I'm Amber Webster. I'm a senior in biology at Winston State University. I'm a biology major with pre-health professionals concentration, Hispanic studies minor, and I'm also president of Women in Science program.
Yes. So what would you like to know, Miss Camille?
Okay, I'm gonna start with the professional.
Okay.
Can you tell me about your career?
Sure. As I stated, my PhD is in the area of cancer biology, and I got that from Wake Forest University School of Medicine. And I guess my background is in the biological sciences, so I did undergrad at Elizabeth City State. And I've always been interested in research, and that was my primary focus. And so at Wake Forest, I studied lung cancer actually. And then once I got my PhD, I then transitioned to a postdoctoral research position where I did breast cancer work in bioinformatics for several years. And my thought was I was gonna stay in translational research in the area of breast cancer, but I actually decided to take my interest in research and bring it into higher education. And I found myself here at Winston-Salem State University teaching various biological sciences courses for upper and lower level students, and also being able to work with them as it relates to undergraduate research, and also began the Women in Science program, where I was able to promote STEM opportunities and experiences with women that love science. And that's where Amber comes in. She's one of my current presidents of Women in Science.
Cool. So I'm gonna ask you a question, Amber. So we're gonna go alternate.
Okay.
Okay. So what are you majoring in?
Major in biology.
And what classes do you take currently?
Currently, I take integrative metabolism, biology seminar. I love psychology, even though it's not a declared minor. So I actually take 2 psychology classes. Both deal with behavior in the brain and the development of the brain with psychology. And then I'm a Hispanic studies minor, so my last class is Spanish.
I want to be a psychologist for children.
I love psychology.
Okay, back to professional. What sparked your interest in pursuing this career?
Wow. Actually, you mentioned psychology. I really thought I was gonna be a psychology major and be a psychologist, because I used to watch a lot of TV and it just seemed like a great career. But I remember in 8th grade, my science teacher, and I'm not even sure he was trained in science, but he was my science teacher. He would do such crazy things in the classroom, and it just sparked my interest. And so every year I would involve myself in the science fair and would just have a good time, asking questions and doing experiments and blowing things up in the backyard. And so from there, I just was really drawn into science. And initially I thought I was going to do medical school, but after doing some investigation of that and some rotations, that really wasn't for me. But I had an opportunity to do research in actually a cancer biology lab early on, and it just sucked me in. So I've been with research ever since.
Okay, another question for you. What is your least favorite part of your career and the best part of your career?
Wow. So my career is multidimensional because it's rooted in science, but a big portion of it is I'm in higher education, so it's also about promoting student success and helping our students excel and be the best that they can be. And so on the science side, the best thing about it is always discovering something new. It can be super frustrating, but you always have a new question. The scary side on the science side is there's always another question. So it never stops, it's ongoing. And so you're always frustrated. But on the higher education side, the most awesome thing is being able to engage with students every day and knowing that even the little things that you do can impact them in tremendous ways and you may not even realize it. And so having that type of, I guess, that ability to interact and influence young people is really exciting, but it's also scary because the little things or the big things that we do can impact young people, and we want to make sure we're always putting our best foot forward. So it's scary sometimes, knowing that we have this tremendous responsibility.
Yeah. Like you have a big, huge weight on your shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, back to the students. What classes do you need, and how many years of school do you need to what do you want to do with your major?
I don't even think we had that conversation yet. I initially want to get my Doctor's of Health Administration, which is going to require a master's degree, which is normally 2 years, and then an additional 4 years on top of that for my doctorate. And so my ultimate goal as a career would be to run not just health facilities, but run facilities health related that could be with like products that are being put out or colleges, universities, stuff like that, just because of my personal experience with the hospital. Ever since I was younger with constant surgeries, I've always had interest in, okay, how does this, work? Who does what? And the positions and the faculty, the fact that I've got to know them. So that's interested me. And I'm a senior, so I have my undergraduate of 4 years, but I still have 6 years left. So that's not even halfway there, but I'm going to get there, so.
What is your hardest and easiest class?
I think the hardest class for a biology major was anatomy and physiology because you learn every system, every hormone, every pathway, everything, and it's really complex, so it can be difficult, especially if anatomy, physiology is not your specific area of research and you're studying different fields. It could be a little hard because you're learning all those extra systems. The easiest class, I would have to say biology of aging was my easiest class, just because, I don't know, I just love Dr. Kump, and I feel like he made it understanding on like the things that you put into your body is what matters when you grow. So it wasn't all these crazy systems that I had to learn. So that'd be the easiest.
How is your college life, currently?
It's pretty boring. I transferred from ECU, so I've already lived a life of being out every day with friends and having fun, and now I'm kind of go home, do homework, sleep, and then wake up and repeat. So, but it's I think Winston-Salem State has brought me opportunities with my academics that I did not have at ECU. I think that when I first went to college, I was a little nervous to get involved with internships and programs. So Winston-Salem State has definitely opened that door for me. So if I am doing anything, I'm always doing something productive with my academics. Okay, what am I going to do tomorrow? Study for the GRE. That's coming up. Am I finished with my personal statement? But it's going. But
I'm just sitting here like, oh, we're doing such an awesome job here at Winston-Salem State.
Okay, we're back to professionals.
Yes, ma'am.
How do most people get into this career that you have? What are the different entry levels?
Different entry levels, and what I do is very complicated. I'm sorry, my phone is ringing, so hopefully it's not important and don't go away. But getting into higher education as a faculty member, typically you need to have your PhD. you usually come in as an assistant professor.
Mhm.
And as an assistant professor, your goal is to excel at the university in areas of teaching, excellence in scholarship and service. So you want to be a well-rounded faculty member. And after a certain number of years, after you feel like you've developed in your areas of teaching, service, and scholarship, you can actually go up for promotion and become tenured at the institution, become an associate professor, which I am at this point.
Mhm.
And then after you've shown a certain level of achievement at that level, you then go up to full professor, which is my next step, which I hope to be doing over the next year or so. And depending on your, I guess, your goals, you might choose to have an emphasis in teaching and stay in the classroom. There are certain faculty that really stress research, so they may do a little less teaching and more research and build their scholarship. And then there are some that may excel more in service, and so you may decide to transition and do some more administrative things. And over the past couple of years, I've had that opportunity to, serve as a co-chair, and then now this really unique opportunity to be an interim associate provost and dean over the university college. So as far as next steps, I'm still figuring that out, but in higher ed, there are a lot of different opportunities, and depending on your institution. Here at WSSU, we do really emphasize the teaching and learning and service piece as well as scholarship, but going to bigger institutions, maybe more scholarship or research, and the focus may be a little bit different, but I like having the up close and personal with the students.
So for both of you, if you guys could change anything about how your life is now, how your career path or your college path is going, what would you change about it?
What would I change? Probably introduce maybe 5 or 6 more hours to the day. Make clone myself maybe like 4 or 5 times. But as far as changing anything, I'm just one of those believers that everything happens the way it should for a reason, and it helps foster or make you into who you're meant to be, and it helps you make better decisions moving forward. So I really don't look at things as being mistakes necessarily, but learning opportunities. So I'll just leave it at that.
That's a great outlook. I would have to agree.
You agree?
Okay, well, for both of you again, what would you tell girls who are watching this? Well, technically in the future, to encourage them to stay in science.
You want to start this one? To stay in science.
I would probably have an emphasis on that a lot of women think that, I have to be a doctor or a nurse, and there's so many other different career paths. That would be the main thing, because I know a lot of me got intimidated by the MCAT, and that test is gonna, but had I not known that there was a different career path, that I didn't have to go into that, medical school route. There's so many other degrees and interests that you could fall into. I mean, you can get a certification for something that takes a year, and you could still have a really good career that's in the medical field. You don't have to go and be a RNA or anything like that. That would probably be my main subject that I would stick on to.
For me, to keep girls motivated to stay in science, what I've found is, and it's not just science, just things that seem challenging or hard in general. For girls and or women, we are very hard on ourselves, and so a lot of times, and not to talk about our men folks, but they could not do things well or not achieve and whatever. It's like, oh, it's okay, and they just keep rolling with it, and they think they're the best thing since sliced bread. But for women, we are so much harder and critical about the things that we do, and so sometimes if it's not absolutely perfect, we get discouraged, and we turn around and try to find a new path that we think is going to be perfect. But nothing is perfect, and sometimes we miss out on opportunities. So what I would say is that as women, we need to build upon who we are, which are strong creatures, and know that when things get hard, we're usually the backbone, and we need to just know that it's challenging, but we're needed. We're needed in these areas because there's a certain thing about who we are as individuals, as women, that we bring something unique to spaces. And so I think particularly with STEM, and being innovative and creative, that's who we are. And so I would just say, just don't be scared to be great. And so I know, even myself, like, you hate compliments and you want to be humble, but men aren't like that. They take it and it's like, okay, I didn't do that great, but they're saying I did. Good job. So we need to know it's okay to be great and just build upon that, and particularly in STEM, know that it is going to be challenging. You might go into spaces where you might not see yourself, but just know that's why you're needed there.
Okay, well, another question for you. What would you tell students when they first arrive on campus that they would need to be successful as like a science major?
They would need to be successful.
Yes.
To read. One of the biggest deficits or issues that we see is, students come in, and particularly like in high school, unfortunately, with some programs, you can kind of get by not reading or not investing the time you need to. You learn how to game the system, but it gets more difficult in college. There are certain things that you're gonna have to know and skills that you're gonna have to develop. So reading is important. Time management, knowing that you may not always get a second chance, so you have to come in with the expectation. You have to put your best foot forward at all times. So just really coming in ready to be about business, but also know it is time to find yourself too. But you have to be about that business and be ready to self-advocate for yourself, and be able to ask for things that you need if you feel like you don't have it all, because that's what we're here for, is to give you the tools and the skills.
Well, considering all the people that you've met in your field, what personal attributes are essential for success?
Essential for success. I guess one, not being afraid to fail, because that's just a part of life. So if you're gonna achieve anything, you have to be willing to not be successful, because to get to success, you make mistakes and you learn. So I guess you have to be flexible in that way. You probably have to be willing to be open